Mufasa, The Lion King from 2024, tells the story of Mufasa's origins through a layered narrative in which Rafiki recounts the past to Kiara, the daughter of Simba and Nala. The film presents Mufasa not as a born leader, but as a vulnerable orphaned cub who is shaped by circumstance, adversity, and the relationships he forms along the way. This approach reframes the familiar legacy of the Lion King mythology by showing that Mufasa's greatness emerges not from destiny alone, but from choices rooted in courage, empathy, and moral growth. His journey emphasizes that heroism is shaped by character, resilience, and the willingness to act responsibly even when one begins with nothing. Mufasa's early life is marked by loss as he is separated from his family during a devastating flood. Alone and disoriented, he is discovered by Taka, a young prince of the ruling lion family. Their bond becomes central to the narrative, illustrating how friendships can shape identity, influence moral direction, and challenge assumptions about lineage and worth. Taka, later known as Scar, embodies ambition and insecurity, while Mufasa represents humility, curiosity, and a desire to belong. This contrast sets the stage for a dynamic relationship defined by loyalty, rivalry, and the tension between empathy and resentment. Through this relationship, the film explores how early influences and emotional vulnerabilities can shape future choices. Life among Taka's pride exposes Mufasa to a structured hierarchy in which his outsider status triggers suspicion and judgment from the king, Obesai. This environment forces Mufasa to learn how to navigate responsibility, power, and expectation despite lacking the royal background that would grant him automatic acceptance. His training under the queen, Esh, teaches him survival skills, patience, and the importance of understanding one's strengths without becoming consumed by pride. These lessons reinforce that leadership is not merely inherited but cultivated through discipline and ethical awareness. Mufasa's growth is portrayed as the result of mentorship, perseverance, and the willingness to rise above self-doubt and prejudice. As the story unfolds, external threats intensify with the appearance of the Outsiders, a group of exiled lions led by Kiros. Their resentment toward the ruling pride, especially after the death of Kiros's son in a clash linked to Mufasa, drives a conflict that challenges Mufasa's developing values. The Outsiders' motivations highlight themes of justice, exclusion, and the consequences of past decisions. Mufasa's encounters with them force him to confront fear, guilt, and responsibility, showing that heroism requires confronting one's mistakes and understanding the perspectives of others even when they pose danger. This conflict brings emotional complexity and moral ambiguity to the narrative, demonstrating that ethical growth often emerges through adversity. A key moment in Mufasa's development occurs during a ceremonial race meant to evaluate his place within the pride. He struggles compared to Taka, who holds natural advantages, yet Taka deliberately sacrifices his own victory to support Mufasa. This act reflects the depth and fragility of their friendship, as it reveals Taka's longing for connection while exposing the seeds of his insecurity. Their dynamic encapsulates how admiration and jealousy can coexist, shaping future decisions with lasting impact. Mufasa's gratitude and humility in response to Taka's help further highlight his moral compass, emphasizing that leadership involves recognizing the value of others and showing loyalty even when facing personal challenges. The journey to the mythical oasis of Malil forms the heart of the film's adventure. Mufasa, Taka, Sarabi, Rafiki, and their companions traverse dangerous terrain, testing their collaboration, resilience, and trust. Their mission becomes both literal and symbolic as they search for stability, purpose, and identity. The challenges they encounter reinforce the importance of unity and the recognition that leadership is not defined by dominance, but by collective strength and ethical responsibility. Mufasa's growing awareness of the world's complexity and the consequences of power deepens his understanding of what it means to protect and guide others. His decisions in Malil reflect a shift from survival to guardianship, marking the beginning of his transformation into a figure worthy of reverence. The climax intensifies the tension between Mufasa, Taka, and Kiros as emotional wounds and long-standing grievances erupt into confrontation. When Kiros threatens Mufasa, Taka acts out of a mixture of loyalty and regret, stepping in to protect his friend, but sustaining a life-altering injury that symbolizes the fracture of his identity. This moment marks the transition from Taka to Scar, illustrating how emotional turmoil, jealousy, and unaddressed pain can shape one's destiny. The film portrays Scar not simply as a villain, but as a tragic figure shaped by complex internal conflicts. Mufasa's choice to spare Taka, despite his betrayal, underscores his capacity for mercy and compassion, reinforcing the theme that heroism requires empathy even toward those who cause harm. The aftermath of victory sees Mufasa emerging as a leader who has earned the respect of those around him. His ascent up the newly formed rock formation symbolizes his rise from orphan to king, framed not as a result of lineage but as the culmination of perseverance, integrity, and moral growth. Rafiki's presence throughout the story highlights the spiritual dimension of leadership, offering wisdom that connects Mufasa's personal journey to the broader cycle of life. His storytelling serves as a reminder that legacy is shaped by the actions one takes and the impact one leaves on others. In the film's present-day framing, Kiera receives these stories as a means of understanding her heritage and her future responsibilities. Her reaction reflects the intergenerational transmission of values and the idea that leadership is rooted in learning from the past. Mufasa's legacy becomes more than a legend. It becomes a guiding force for the next generation, demonstrating that the qualities of courage, empathy, and wisdom endure long after a leader is gone. Mufasa, the Lion King, ultimately expands the emotional and thematic landscape of the franchise by delving into the early experiences that shaped one of its most iconic characters. The film emphasizes that greatness is not defined by birth, but by choices, relationships, and the courage to act ethically even when the path is uncertain. Through vivid storytelling, character depth, and a focus on moral development, it presents a portrait of Mufasa that enriches the legacy of the Lion King universe while offering a nuanced exploration of what it truly means to be a leader.